Hello everyone and welcome to another Pax Day video. My name's Brian if you happen to be new to the channel, and if you are a fan of Pax Day, you're in the right spot. And today we've got breaking news as it relates to what kind of monetization is this game going to have. This has been an ongoing question that we've all had within the community, and I'm here to say it actually seems pretty interesting. So they've got a full post. I'll include a link in the description or as a part of the pinned comment, one or the other, if you guys want to just go read this for yourself. But I'm going to give you guys my perspective, as well as somebody who loves MMORPGs, who plays MMORPGs, and who covers MMORPGs. But I just kind of do it in a little bit different way from everybody else. This is a dedicated Pax Day channel. This is what you're going to find here. If you guys are interested in more of my MMORPG coverage, be sure to check out my other sub channels. And you know, if you've already have and done that before, awesome, welcome in, welcome back. But let's go ahead and dive on in. Man, this is so freaking exciting. I'm gonna go and make it a little bit bigger on the screen for you guys. So where do they stand on monetization? Greetings, Paxians. Since we revealed Pax Day a few months ago, the game's intended business model has been a reoccurring conversation topic within the community. Well, we're sorry to say that this blog will not give us all the full details about the monetization Pax Day because we haven't figured it all out yet. I like their honesty. I do really appreciate it immensely. Yet, that's on purpose. We're still away from the full release of Pax Day, and we want to use this time ahead to see how players engage with the game and hear from the community before we lock in the model. Dude, this is great. This makes me so excited for the state of this game. It's a relationship. It's a relationship between us and them. And I think everybody here that's especially been a long-time MMO player knows that we want them to be successful, because if the game's good, let's let it win. So monetization isn't such a dirty word that you see kind of thrown around on the internet from time to time. Anyway, so there are two, so what are all the words below about that? This is us sharing how we're approaching this topic to start the conversation. The TLDR, ensuring that we can sustain and develop Pax Day in the long run. That is driving the way that we think about monetization. And with that in mind, Pax Day's business model at launch will look something like this. A core consisting of a one-time purchase of the game. Okay, excellent. Yes. I'm deeply concerned by free-to-play, especially as it relates to the MMOs. I understand the business and how certain MMOs have been able to capitalize on that, but the long-term effects are always concerning to me. That's where I'm like, buy-to-play seems nice. However, it also says a regular fee for maintaining active player status and in-game plots. Now this sounds like a subscription. However, it also sounds like it is a optional subscription. So if you want to have the in-game plots, now active player status sounds like it's a subscription model, which I think is the right model, especially for sandbox MMOs. You're not going to get millions and millions and millions and millions of players like WoW did back in the day. However, a subscription means that people who are there were all bought in. I think the subscription model is the most fair, but it does also kind of, I read this in part that it's like, maybe like if you're not subbed, you can still log in, and there's going to just be certain things that you won't be able to participate in, like the economy or maintaining your plots, etc. Now, this is going to be supplemented with free but limited access to discover the game, so free trials or timed trials and things like that. Fully optional additional services added down the line, character transfers and things like that. I think that falls into that category. This could also entail something like a battle pass, any kind of additional services. Like, this is a very broad term at this regards, but if the game does have a subscription and it does have the player base and it is profitable, I think you end up seeing certain things like that. And then this kind of is interesting. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also considering a WoW or a Plex like system, a WoW token or a Plex EVE Online style system. This, if you guys aren't aware, it's where you can earn in-game and you can purchase the subscription time. You can purchase the benefits from the economy, so somebody else is spending the money and you're getting that benefit. I do feel like this ends up being a pretty smart system for hardcore players who want to do that, but it does change the relationship. And I think this might be a better system, like where we look at EVE Online, in a sandbox MMO as opposed to a World of Warcraft MMO where people feel like they log in, they spend $20, They go buy the best gear or whatever, for that, and then they move on. Now, sustaining the game in it for the long run. We're building an MMO. Scale and persistence aren't cheap. As importantly, we already have enough ideas to keep adding content and features to Pax Dei for years after the initial release. We're looking for a business model that feels fair to the players and allows us to deliver over time our full vision for the game. Our first goal when thinking about monetization is to ensure enough of a regular revenue stream to maintain and expand the game in the long run. So here are the rules. We still have many decisions ahead of us, and there are already a few things that we're sure about, and we call them the rules. Rule N1. We don't do direct monetization of performance or time skips. Woo, baby. I hate time skips. Ooh. Rule number 2. The in-game economy is 100% player driven. What we sell must not compete with the value produced by the player crafting economy. Excellent. Rule number 3, we're transparent with the model. It's easy to understand what's on offer and easy to get in and out, even when it requires writing a wall of text to explain it. And I like it to see all the different plots. Housing and handling inactive players. Okay, here we go. Now let's take a bit of a detour and talk about what we think, and our early testers seem to agree, is one of the most exciting features of Pax Dei: housing. In Pax Dei, we're building your home in the real world. In other words, the game allows you to claim land for your own usage, which is really cool. However, your building can be seen and shared with other players, and you can band together and build hamlets, villages, and even fully fleshed out towns. We look forward to seeing what will emerge from allowing players to collaborate through this system. It also creates a series of constraints. Whatever gets built on a given player's plot must always be maintained. That's costly, not to mention technically challenging. We need a system to free up land once players leave the game or become inactive. This system will be crucial to keeping the worlds alive, full of activity and opportunity to meet friends and avoid having areas of the game become ghost towns. Therefore, we need a very robust system to understand whether plots are active or inactive, and we've decided to make it a core of our monetization. So the core, we therefore intend to introduce a recurring fee to maintain active player status and in-game plots, following the initial duration covered with the original game purchase. This system will allow us to give players flexibility in choosing the domain size that they want to enjoy in-game, along with indicating that they are actively using it, or that the space can be freed up for other players. It will also be a way for the most engaged players to support Pax Dei's continuous development in the long run. We have yet to fully determine the exact shape or form and price that this will take. The good old-fashioned subscription model is certainly something we're looking at. Still, we're also considering other options with an eye for balancing the simple usage while allowing players to choose how they want to engage with the game. It's interesting because, like, when we're talking, it feels like they're saying subscription, but they're not, and then they come out and say, we're still considering the subscription option, but it is going to be interesting. And forgive all the stutters, guys. If you guys aren't aware, I'm dyslexic, and occasionally I stutter. So hopefully that hasn't upset you too much. Like and subscribe. Anyway, free access and other options. Around this core, and not overly not a type of defined amount of time, we intend to develop a range of additional options, like emphasis on words options. None of this falls in the category should ever feel mandatory to enjoy the game. Things like free but limited access. While we won't release Pax Dei as a free-to-play, we want to offer players a way to discover the world and its community for free before deciding to engage further. We also want to limit players' potential impact on the world, defining what limits ought to be still ahead of us. So you don't want somebody coming in free to play and just absolutely wrecking the market and then doing that over and over and over again, because bot farms are real. In fact, a player-driven economy means that people are going to try and sell gold, and that's where the WoW token and the Plex, etc., kind of offset that, so that way you don't always have all these third-party illegal. You will, no matter what, as long as there's profit to be made, people will work towards it. But anyway, additional services, convenience, and cosmetics are the areas to explore here, and we haven't yet precisely defined our offer, in part because we anticipate responding to the needs and the appetite of players' community. A system for transferring avatars between worlds will undoubtedly be among the first items on this list. Play to play. Those of us who have spent enough time in our professional lives working on EVE Online or World of Warcraft will have been able to measure the benefits and offer secure ways for players to transact real money for in-game resources between themselves. It helps increase the overall player population and activity, and by allowing a busier members of the community to keep up with their fellow players with more free time while making the in-game more accessible to others. I like that it goes between players rather than like the game's just putting money into the economy. That's not the players are generating that money, and then it ends up they're just facilitating a trade and taking a cut of the resources. Now, it creates avenues for players to sponsor group activities in the game, and it's an important mechanism to fight botting and other nefarious activities that will spring around every successful MMO. That is a fact. Now, this is why we're considering offering down the line and our own variation of the Plex or WoW token systems to the members of the community that have concerns with such systems. Yes, we are reading the conversations on Discord. Our priority when designing the system will be to ensure that it contributes to the player-driven economy and to the game's long-term health. That is why we made the rules. Having done it before, we can guarantee that it will be perfect from the get-go. We can't guarantee that it will be perfect from the get-go, but we commit to careful implementation, which will be well worth the dedicated and more detailed conversations in due time. Thank you guys for listening as well. If you guys are interested in more Pax Day content and news, I'm very excited to hear your thoughts. I really would be surprised if this does go with the subscription model, because I've been saying that I just don't see games being able to support that, especially in the age of like Game Pass, where you get so much for the same level of price. However, I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong, and I want to see these kind of games succeed. And I think the WoW token system with the sandbox offers more benefits than disadvantages, if we're being honest. Sure, somebody can come in and spend $20, but somebody's also spending that time to get the resources. And I think when it's all said and done, when we talk about earning in-game currency in these freemium games, people, no matter what, automatically start to look at their hourly rate versus how much time it will spend in game. This in and of itself kind of normalizes that. So if somebody wants to come in and they want to spend that money, again, it's an option. They don't have to, but it becomes an option. And it helps that somebody who has tons of time is able to maybe enjoy the game more. But there does not seem to be like there's a transferring of that wealth into other games, aka the Battle.net system. So in the long run, I think this is fascinating. I really appreciate them being so open and honest and discussing this with us, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. So sound off below. We'll do some discussion videos about this topic coming up, but that's the news, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. My name's Brian, if you happen to be new around here, and I just wish you guys all the very best. Love you, and hopefully you have a wonderful day. Until then, take care.